When you come across a video like this, you just gotta stop.
Today I have an announcement about the journey I have been on. I transitioned, I became a Korean woman. Had a lot of surgery to be more feminine. I started to wear women's clothing. I got Korean hair extensions, and just really living as a Korean woman for the last 6 months. And it gave me so much happiness. It gave me so much confidence. You know, I felt really good at the start. Do you know, I realized it's only temporary happiness. So since then, I've been experimenting. I've been trying to find myself, and I felt very lost. And as you guys know, I am gender fluid, but I've come to realize that actually I am a man and I want to stay as a man. So I'm going to revert to my original pronouns, which is he, him, and call Ian.
That is British singer, born a man, Oli London. Listen, this is about to be a crazy video, so just buckle up and bear with me. This is where it gets a little confusing. Born a man who now self-identifies as a Korean woman as of like 6 months ago, but then he recently transitioned to a Korean woman and then transitioned back into a British non-binary person. Look, I don't care about the gender identity thing. Transgender people do suffer from, you know, identity crisis. We can address that in a different video. But what I do find to be a problem is Oli London pretending to be a Korean woman. He even goes as far as to say, well, let me just play this part again.
Going to revert to my original pronouns, which is he, him, and call Ian.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the pronoun thing, the core Ian? Yeah, core Ian. I know people are upset because there's so many pronouns that are being made every single day, but this is his or her or them. Well, he said he, him, his racial pronouns, which doesn't even make any sense. Oli London is trying to become famous BTS K-pop singers because he does not feel like he identifies with who he is as a person. Look, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this. We've seen people blackfish all the time. I mean, Rachel Dolezal is an example. Ariana Grande, you know, you remember her, Kat from Victorious. Look at her from back then and then look at her now. And also Bad Baby, Danielle Bergoli. I mean, look at her when she went on the Dr. Phil show, and then look at her now. Listen, blackfishing, catfishing other races is not something that is new. Being racially ambiguous is not a new phenomenon, but people that, you know, do things to the tune of 32 surgeries, and yes, I am saying that right. 32 surgeries, take these things, you know, to a little bit of extreme. 32 surgeries is outrageous no matter how many times you do it or how often you go. This man, Oli London, did 32 surgeries in a 6-month span. Talk about somebody trying to kill themselves. I mean, that's just completely dangerous. I hope somebody tried to stop him, but you know, it's getting out of hand now.
I've come to realize I'm happy being a man. This is my biology. As you know, I struggle with identity issues. I'm working on myself. I am improving as a human being. So for any member of the trans community, I just want you to know I'm here to help, because it's very confusing. And I know a lot of people, you know, struggle for many years with their gender identity, and you know, they may be born in the wrong body. And I was born in the wrong body, but I was born in the British body when it should have been Korean.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I do agree. You know, people can be born in the wrong bodies. They might feel they are a different person. And I hate that this is another standing point for those that are like really conservative or against those that are in the transgender community. But I want to let it be clear and known right now, these are two different issues that have nothing to do with each other. This guy is creepy. This guy has mental health issues and he needs to go seek help ASAP and then some. Oli London is taking issues and conflating them and saying that, you know, because he lived in Korea for a year, he can identify with these people, and that's basically he said that these people were cool and that's who he wants to be. But I'm gonna let you know, you do not deal with the things that the Korean people deal with as a white man from Britain. And people have pressed him about this. It's not anything new here.
I think your skin color has a lot to do with everything you're doing. I think we need to recognize that white supremacy is a global issue. What you are essentially saying is that you can change your race, and you can't change your race. And I think if you don't recognize that power imbalance in what you're doing and how it's disrespectful to me, you're just kind of proving the point that you're doing this for money and attention.
Now, mind you, very sensible argument there from this young lady that's interviewing him. Let's see how Oli, well at the time, her, let's see how Oli London responds to that.
But I understand what you're saying in terms of white privilege. I've never had that experience, you know, but I am not one of those people. I am completely different, so I don't like to be put in the same category as someone like that. I understand some people might get offended by what I do, but I'm not actually going out there doing bad things. I'm not doing anything to hurt people. I'm just living my truth. I'm doing what makes me happy.
And it's just straight blasphemous how he thinks that he feels like he's much different than anybody else that will be doing the same exact things. I don't know how he can't even remove himself from the situation. This is a long-standing thing. Oli London has made it a show and a mockery of, Korean people by taking on their identity and their culture, even in the faces of those people that do not like him. I mean, there's been plenty of times where he's been in the faces of Korean people and they said, hey, we don't approve of this. This is very disrespectful. This is disgusting. And he's been like, well, I mean, it is what it is. This is who I think I am.
I respect people that have a different opinion. They might not agree with me. Nothing has changed. I still identify as transracial and Korean. I will always identify this way.
And see, buddy, that's where the line is drawn. Because that video was taken 7 months ago. And when he detransitioned, that video was taken 1 month ago. So within a 6-month span, always within a 6-month span, Oli London can choose to be in and out of different cultures over and over and over again. Further cementing the idea that he is just making a mockery of the people in which he claimed he was championing. Nobody can stop being Korean or male or this is disgusting like work. Now, mind you, maybe I would just chalk it up to him not knowing who he is. But again, you did so much damaging work, not only to your body, but from the perspective standpoint, that it makes it hard for me to have any sympathy for you. And like I said, it would be totally different because what do I know? I'm a black man. I might not have a leg in this race. But let's see what some Korean people have to say about Oli London.
Ignore Oli London now. If you have been following me for a while, you know I never use my platform to start drama or send other creators hate, but enough is enough. So if you're an international fan or you like Korean culture, I'm sure you've heard of Oli London. He's like the definition of a Korea boo. He just makes content like this and this creator showed a phone call recording of Oli London and he literally says he's talking about Black Lives Matter just to stay relevant on the internet. There's many ways you can make money on the internet and Oli London is a man in his 30s who knows exactly what he's doing.
I completely agree. The internet has created a world of opportunistic people capitalizing on people's grief or traumas or, just being a media darling. And Oli London is like a perfect case as to what goes on when the internet takes over somebody's life and how it can destroy your mental from top to bottom.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
만나서 반가워요.
반갑습니다.
이름이 뭐예요?
네?
이름이 뭐예요? 이름이 뭐예요? Okay.
You can see that he doesn't even take the Korean culture seriously. I would think that you would do your due diligence in learning the culture, but I mean this was a transition 6 months in the making, so I don't know how much of a dent in the game you could have gotten. This guy's a complete and total joke and made a mockery of, being Korean. Even to the point where Oli London has gone out and, like I mentioned before, created his own pronouns or her own pronouns at the time as to his new racial identity, which as a black man, maybe I'm missing out. Hey, black people in the comments, tell me, is there a pronoun for us? For the niggas? I now identify myself as nigga or nigga. Look, I want to see how Dennis edits that one in. I want to see how he edits that one in. I would love to see if black people have pronouns. Maybe I'm missing out. I don't know.
I actually wanted to make my own pronouns for Korean, so Korean, because I think there's so many pronouns out there. Why can I not just have my own pronouns?
Now, see, does that make sense? And for somebody who's supposed to be an advocate and an ally to all these different movements that you claim to be, all you've done is diminish the legitimacy or the validity of these people's complaints. You are doing nothing but tarnishing the image of trans people, queer people, anybody in the LGBTQ, to be honest with you, anybody who's standing up for Korean rights, to be honest with you. You're doing nothing but being an opportunist while selling an album at the same time. It's your floppy music. It's not poppy, it's floppy. It's K shit. And what makes this probably the most harmful to me is that, just 3 weeks ago, from the time of this recording, you decide to go on to Fox News, a known right-wing platform, and spew your nasty rhetoric about the trans movement, how it's impacting the kids, and I just listen to this.
But 6 months later, he's decided he's had enough. Now he's transitioning back to being a British man. We thought we would ask him what that experience was like. Oli London joins us tonight. Oli London, thanks so much for coming on. So why did you decide to become a Korean woman? Who told you that was possible?
So obviously I've had a difficult time with my gender identity struggles. I was never unhappy with how I looked. So I started changing. I started dressing as a Korean woman, and I realized that was a big mistake and I just want to be a boy. But is it any wonder people like me and young people want to change their gender when we have the normalization of this in our schools in this country? Children are taught from a young age, from the age of of 5 in some cases that it's okay to change their gender. It's okay to, you know, wear a skirt. It's okay for a boy to use a gender-neutral toilet when it puts girls at risk. This is the new norm, and schools are teaching about toxic masculinity. They're eroding the alpha male. The alpha straight male has been eroded. You know, Tucker, what happened years ago when kids used to go to school, they used to idolize Superman and astronauts. Now kids are being pushed this radical ideology. They're taught to idolize weak men like Harry Styles, weak politicians like Beto O'Rourke. Why is this happening, you know? And is it any wonder people like me fall victim to this, that I had all this surgery, I tried to change because, you know, I kind of fell victim to this mentality.
30 seconds into his interview on Tucker Carlson, and you're blaming schools? You're a 32-year-old man. Blaming schools and the education and the way that the system is weakening them in class. When's the last time you've been in an elementary school classroom? When is the last time? This is how I know that these things are for opportunity, these things are for rhetoric. And mind you, you still claim to be somebody who is gender fluid. So somebody that still wants to be liberal with their gender and change it based off of how they feel, which is fine. But how do you sit on Fox News and put this rhetoric out that just completely goes against what your movement is? And I would understand maybe if you made these turns in different increments, maybe years later you decide to do these things, maybe years later, hell, maybe even months. But the video that we just showed you where we was talking about him detransitioning to this video today was in the same span. These both were made 3 weeks ago. This is somebody who is very unserious. This is a comic. He's a joke. Listen, I don't know if Oli London thinks that he's, again, doing anything good for the community that he claims to be doing it for. This is nothing but hate speech and bad rhetoric for them. And he's talking about a country in which Tucker Carlson doesn't even live in or really report news on that much. So what he could be talking about in this country versus that, it completely goes against his points in the beginning.
May I ask you a question? And I'm not mocking you at all. It's a sincere question. Did it make you happier? Did you feel when you, quote, transitioned and started living as something that you weren't, did you feel like you were that thing, and were you at peace inside?
Hey, Tucker, that's a good question. Let's see how Oli answers this one, because I would like to know.
You know, I've never really found happiness until recently. So I was always struggling with my looks, as most kids do, especially as a teenager. Between, you know, the age of 11 to 13, kids change. And kids start to question themselves. They start to question their looks, their identity. They have self-esteem issues. This is normal.
Okay, yeah. Teenagers do go through some things.
I used to really hate the way I looked, so I thought having all this surgery, trying to become a girl, dressing as a girl, trying to be more feminine, I thought that would make me happy. I've realized that was a big mistake, and I feel like, you know, if I was born 40 years ago, I wouldn't have done this. It's what the woke culture is pushing these days.
Nope, you lost the plot. You lost the plot. How you're blaming woke culture is for your ultimate dissatisfaction with yourself and making these drastic changes doesn't mean a thing. Listen, I think Oli London is like a one-off case. He's even got me agreeing with Candace Owens because I watched a video of her reaction to it. This guy's an opportunist and he does not care about any singular movement. He needs to go find happiness himself without having to, you know, tie in his views with the nasty rhetoric of people. I'm not gonna lie, the comment section of these videos is really very telling. And just like when the Rachel Dolezal situation was happening, when you have nobody on your side, even the conservatives that are in his comment section, when you have nobody on your side, it lets you know that what you're doing is wrong. People are watching you for the clout. This is a very nasty and clout-driven person because we know clout can bring fame and, you know, eyes and clicks and things like that. Oli London, I hope you find help, I guess. I really don't care what the fuck you do, but hey, I know I'm not. But I say it at the end all the time. I could be wrong.